Well, good morning, or it may be afternoon for you, perhaps even evening, and in some cases, the middle of the night when you listen to and or watch this yard stroll. This is going to be a mishmash, if I can get out the SHs this morning. This is going to be a mishmash of just a few rambling thoughts. And yeah, so let's stroll. Oh, by the way, interestingly enough, I don't think we need a trigger warning this morning. I'm not feeling any cuss words about to spew out of my mouth. For one thing, I'm not angry, and that helps. And for anyone who is new to my channel, hello, this is Susan, and welcome to Lip Lock No More. Generally, on a yard stroll, I'm raising Cain, and I could this morning if I wanted to get myself worked up, but what would be the benefit of that? No, I just have a couple of random thoughts, and when I do a pre-recorded upload that I refer to as yard strolls, we're just walking around my yard and I'm saying stuff. Okay? So, one of the major things on my mind this morning, of course, is the upcoming 4-year marker of the disappearance of Summer Wells. Now, that does weigh heavily on my heart. Summer Wells always weighs heavily on my heart. Always. And y'all know how reluctant I am to use such words as always, forever, etc. Figs are coming. So, one thing I wanted to touch on is the fact that after his recapture, the murderer, rapist, Grant Harden, has been transferred to Supermax Varner unit. That's spelled Varner. And coincidentally, two things coincidentally. My oldest son, after he retired 22 years in the United States military, Iraqi war veteran, after he retired from military, he became a corrections officer and he was at the Varner unit. It's a pretty tough house. You know, back in the old days, we called it the big house. That type of prison, not Varner specifically. He's in the big house. The second coincidental thing about that, any of you who were around when I was sharing with you and substantiating that I had indeed been a news reporter, you will recall, and they are still here on the channel, a short series I did that I titled Letters from a Murderer. Kevin Burkhart. He's at Varner. Kevin Burkhart murdered 2 elderly people with his bare hands. He and Edward Morris. It was back in the 1980s. Anyway, so good thing is that Grant Harden, the convicted murderer rapist, is not only back in custody, as I have already let everybody know, and you guys know, yeah. Pardon me. I beg your pardon. Anyway, the relief that I feel is immense. For my family that lives in Izard County, where Grant Harden had escaped from and was recaptured. We can breathe easily again, at least in that regard. So what are the random thoughts you got, old lady? Hey, Mr. Grayson. Well, I don't jot my random thoughts down, so I'm having to think for a minute while I look at the blooms on the tomato plants and the sunflowers and the onions and the garlic, and try to keep myself from tripping over Mr. Grayson, who wants to be underneath my feet right now. The other thing I wanted to touch on, babies, is something that y'all, many of you may realize is a real thing on YouTube. And others of you may go, oh, there's nobody. Let me let this loud truck get by. There may be others of you, like I used to be, who would say to yourselves or to others, oh, people on YouTube wouldn't manufacture drama. Yeah, they will. I could prove it to you, but I don't want to. I don't want to show you the texts that I have saved in my phone and instant messages on Facebook that I have saved for years, not to use against anyone else, but they are sort of insurance policies, if you know what I mean. Like, if those few people ever try to mess with me, as in lying about me or attempting to manufacture some sort of drama, I have something in my hip pocket that I can say, well, okay, remember that text message that you sent me 3.5 years ago, or 3 years ago, or 2 years ago? Remember that instant message where you said this about that person? Or if you're another creator, remember that phone call you made to me where we talked for an hour about shit I didn't want to talk about? Oops, sorry about the language. I was trying not to do that. Wherein you were trying to pull me into some manufactured drama. As a matter of fact, one person who is no longer on this platform, several years ago, when Benny Keys, who's no longer on the platform, began his association with Tiffany Marie, who we rarely see on the platform, that person sent me a text asking me directly if I wanted to manufacture some shit, sorry for the language again, against Benny Keys and go on YouTube with it. I also have my response to that text. And that response was not verbatim, because I haven't looked at it in a long time, but pretty much, I don't freaking think so. I'm not interested in participating in that kind of malarkey. See, if I put some effort into it, I can come up with another word other than the usual curse words I use. Pecan trees are doing great. So, what I'm trying to say to you babies is there really is manufactured drama on YouTube. There really are people who will contact one another behind the scenes and say, hey, you want to say this about that and that person? This is a trumpet vine, by the way. It hasn't obviously come to a place that it wants to open up and bloom for me, but it will soon. Anyway, where was I? There really are people on this platform who will purposefully make things up negatively about other creators, about their mods, about their subscribers and their members, about former mods, about former associations with other creators, and then come on the platform and present it as either drama, melodrama, or even in some cases a serious piece that is complete bullshit. Now, here's the problem for me. I don't know how to tell you when it is real and when it is not. I myself have been pulled into and fooled by manufactured drama. I'm seeing little green apples. God didn't make the little green apples, and it don't rain in Indianapolis in the summertime. There's no such thing as Dr. Seuss, Disneyland, and Mother Goose. No nursery rhymes. I'm still here. I'm just thinking if I have another random thought that I want to randomly express on a random yard stroll. Around not a random yard, around my own. Oh, well, the only other thing that occurs to me that I can tell you that has happened in the last several days is my desktop totally crashed 3 nights ago. By crashed, I don't mean the dreaded blue screen. I mean, I was watching some YouTube and I heard a little thing that sounded like a snap, and the screen went black on my monitor, and the little light that usually tells me on the tower that it is on and everything is cool was flashing yellow. Went through all the steps a person would go through to remedy something, and yeah. And so I'm not knowing how I can... Look, I've called my IT guy 3 times. I've texted him twice, and I haven't heard back from him in 5 days. I said it was 3 nights ago. It was actually 5 nights ago. I wasn't lying. I'm just an old lady, and sometimes my timeline gets screwed up. So, well, why, Susan, would you be up? Y'all know I'm a techno dummy, okay? I can't do some of the things that I do on my phone. I have to have my desktop. So Bob, my husband, said, well, honey, let's go. Well, come on, let's just go buy you a laptop. I said, fine. That's not the problem. Money is not the problem. We got the money to go buy me a new laptop. I don't know how to get the stuff out of my computer into a new device. I need my IT guy. I need him to come, or I need to be able to take it to him and for him to say, yeah, I can do this, because my IT guy, he can do anything. I'm telling you, the computer I had before this one, it just pretty near caught on fire. I'm not kidding. The power supply just burned the entire F up. It was like it was locked up tighter than Dick's hat band. My IT guy was able to get every single thing out of it into another computer, the one I've been using. So, yay, yeah, I'm going to go get me a new laptop, or a laptop. I've never had one. But how do I get everything out of the computer I got into a new computer? Even if it would turn on, I wouldn't know how. Shoot fire. I barely know how to turn on this, what my mama used to call a cellophone. I barely know how to turn on this cellophone. So, why would I tell yins about that? Well, because a lot of what I do here and what y'all end up seeing here is me using my phone to record and get stuff off of my computer. Shit, fire, and save matches. There I go again. I'm trying. Just for this yard stroll, by the way, with the language, I ain't trying forever. I like cussing. It's one of my favorite things to do. Let me toss these old blooms. All right, then. So, I'm getting a little bit frustrated because my IT guy is not calling me back. And some of you might say, and rightfully so, well, Miss Susan, maybe he's busy, considering that he's not just an IT guy. He's also a husband and a father and a firefighter. Well, all right then. Thank you for reminding me. So in the meantime, this kind of hokey crap right here is all we're going to get, or just me, like when I'm on live stream, just sitting and jacking my jaws, and I won't be able to show you anything. So anyway, here's what I'm going to do. As we come almost full circle around the yard. This is going to take forever to upload. I'm going to put the tower, or whatever y'all call the thing that is the computer itself, that thing, that box thing, I'm going to put it in my car. And I'm going to drive it about 7 blocks up the road to the brick and mortar of my IT guy, where hopefully his beautiful wife is holding down the fort, and I can walk in with it and say, young lady, I need for him to take everything out of this and put it into that, like he did before. And then I need him to teach me how to use a laptop, because I've never even held one in my hands, much less actually used one. I don't know how to do it. Boy, I felt Aunt Burgie fixing to come out there for a minute. Did y'all hear Aunt Burgie there for a minute? Anyway, darlings, we have made it full circle. As usual, I have not said much of import. So just mind your P's and Q's. Do your best to not get involved in other people's bullshit. If it ain't none of yours, don't get in it. And yeah, okay. Just be mindful when you're on this platform and try to not do like I have done from time to time and be sucked into it and start saying and doing things that makes you not feel good about yourself. Okay? Y'all know I love the morning glories that I grow for summer wells because they always appear to have a light shining at the end of that tunnel. And we never know. Today could be the day. But until that day does arrive, we will continue daily uploading shorts on behalf of Missing Summer Moon Utah Wells.